Live in Cheshire, good morning. This is from Michaela. It's about James. Michaela lives in Bournemouth, and you might be a bit judgmental. I don't know. I think I was when I read it over the weekend. And you might think there's something of having your cake and eat it on this, but look, make up your own mind. You can pretty much see the way it's going to go as the whole event progresses. It goes back 2 years. When Michaela had a good relationship, she also had a 7-year-old, the daughter, and she decided to go to a local social club once a week alone. She was quite happy going alone, so was her partner. He stayed at home because the daughter was 7. She went out, just enjoyed going. Rarely won anything at bingo, but looked forward to it just the same. And she tended over the weeks to chat to a few people she sat near and began to notice a bloke who sat further down from her, considerably older than her, but he'd looked after himself, if you get my drift. Very good looking, and Michaela found herself attracted to him. As the weeks went by, he'd occasionally smile at her, nothing special. And then they got to know each other, and he'd buy her a drink, very friendly, and she found herself beginning to look forward to seeing him in a particular way. Now, she was still living at home. Things weren't great. The partner and she were bored with each other, and they seemed to be falling out more than usual and growing apart. She also knew that he was going through a tough time, that is, the bloke whose attention she'd attracted, and he lived with a long-term partner. Then she grew more and more to enjoy and look forward to Friday night and seeing the bloke, and his name, by the way, was James. And I guess she enjoyed and was flattered by the attention he gave her, and she started to make an effort with the appearance, and by the end of the year they'd swap phone numbers and occasionally they'd text each other and they'd refer jokes to each other, until last year when things really did start to pick up speed. He met her daughter in the social club, and James made her laugh. He was great company, always put a smile on Michaela's face, and by now she knew she was attracted, and the feeling was mutual. And there was something else. Not merely did they both have partners, both have families, but they had a 17-year age gap. He was very flattered because he was considerably older, and they began to see each other away from the club. He introduced her to the world of rock and roll and racing, horse racing, amongst other things, and they started speaking to each other both days. But here's the thing. While neither of them actually committed, they were both very aware they had to be careful. August last year, she'd booked a 5-day holiday away with her daughter and partner, and they went off to Blackpool. Nice break, good weather, but she was still missing James, and she phoned him when she could, just from call boxes, and agreed that they were missing each other. And in September, he had a 2-week holiday booked to Spain with his partner and her children. And she put a lot of pressure. Michaela said, look, don't go. And then she thought about it and thought she was being selfish, and she went along with it. And he rang her every day from Spain. So you can see the way the relationship is developing. She missed him like mad. And when he returned, they both vowed never to be apart again and started to plan a future ahead for the two of them. They talked about houses, about cars, about holidays, about where they'd live. He saw more and more of her daughter, though the partner did not know about this. He lavished them both with attention and gifts, and to be honest, she loved every minute of it. She couldn't have been happier. Until November last year, and she got a phone call early on a Monday morning saying that his partner had found a message on the phone and a picture of Michaela. He was deeply concerned about that, as you would be, and felt that she would now try and contact her. But nothing. Michaela never got a phone call, didn't hear anything at all. She saw him that night and they talked in great length about what would happen now, and he continued to argue that he wanted to be with her but couldn't move out until certain things were in place because he had financial commitments. And then for 48 hours she heard nothing from him. On the Thursday morning he called her. She said, "Are we okay?" And he replied, "I don't know." She couldn't get her head around it. What had gone wrong so quickly? He was upset and sorry, and he said, "Look, I've given my word to my partner, I will try again." She got through the next few days, Michaela did, on autopilot. She felt that her heart was broken, but she had to try and hold it together for her daughter. The partner still didn't know anything about this. 3 days after the call, it was the daughter's 8th birthday, and James turned up with lavish gifts for her. And when he left the house, she went outside with him to his car, and they were just completely unprepared. He said he wasn't sure he'd made the right decision. She saw some hope. They sneakily carried on texting each other for another week. He asked her to wait for him. He wanted to be with her and her alone. He just couldn't tell her when. And then she got a text. And the text was from James's partner, saying, "Look, go to hell. Stop texting. Stop phoning. Stop ruining my life." It was over. The two of them were trying again, and it wouldn't help at all to have her trying to make contact with him. But Michaela continued to try and contact him week after week, and no word back. And Christmas came and went, not a card, not a letter, not a gift for the daughter, and he'd promised things to her. And now she's come to terms with the reality that it was never meant to be. Now the problem is the big question. She went knowingly into this relationship, and now she wants to know why he reacted as he did, whether he was just using her or whether he genuinely did care for her. That's the big issue. She's trying now to do the decent thing and build relationships back up with her partner, but who knows? But it's this why that hangs in the air over her life. She still cares for him, still misses him, and finds life very difficult. And it's easy, isn't it? Just look straight at the radio and say, well, she got herself into it. But there's still that question. Was she being used, or was she using herself? Don't know. It's Simon.Bates at smoothradio.co.uk, our tune, and it's back at 8:40 tomorrow morning.